Hello, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 125, and this is a late upload because I've been busy this week. I believe it's like one of my busiest week here ever. I have like 3 upcoming presentations to Atlas. In fact, I have one now within an hour, but I'm gonna take this video before that presentation and before I eat my lunch as well. And then I also presented like last Tuesday to our group meeting here at Witwatersrand. I was the first 2%. But anyway, we'll talk about those for the Postdoc this week. This is the one for last week, and this is also of course the debut video of my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which I talked about in depth from the last week's Postdoc Chronicles. So before we dive into it, I got into the I got addicted, making old Windows games work on my Piboy DMG. As you can see right here, we have Red Alert 2 running. This also works on the on my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and you can connect this to the TV. Also, this one you can connect to the TV, but it's running Exagear on the Android, which basically emulates Windows programs, but on the Raspberry Pi, it's even more challenging because the Raspberry Pi itself, the machine, it runs on the ARM architecture, whereas these Windows games runs on x84 architecture, so it's different. But there's this system, there's like a sort of an emulator that makes x86 games runs on the ARM 64 architecture. This is called the Box x86. It's still in in the developmental stage, but right now there are like some compatibilities, as you can see here, Red Alert 2. But of course, Box x86 is not enough. It just allows you to run x86 games into ARM. What you need to do next is you have to install Wine, which is the Windows emulator. So what happens is, the way I understand it is, Wine works on x86 architecture. Raspberry Pi is not x86. So what you do is you first run Box 86 on top of Wine, and then let Wine run on a Box 86, and then the games, Windows games will run on Wine. So this Red Alert here, I was able to play, a full game of Isle of War, a full game of Bay of Pigs, and you can definitely finish a game. You use this, the mouse is basically mapped on this controller. So in effect, if I can exit right here, I was also able to set up a Raspbian OS basically on my Piboy. And basically a Raspbian OS is like a Linux OS designed specifically for the Raspberry Pi. And in fact, I can also do some programming here. So as you can see there, it's an OS. I can do some programming here. So this is map, and then you have as an on-screen keyboard as well if you need it. So I can do some programming here. I can run Mathematica. In fact, I can generate events here on MadGraph. I tried it, and even Pythia, with the hadronization. It's very cool. And also last week I was able to obtain. Again, this was released by Nintendo last November to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Mario. It's the Game & Watch. This is still sealed, and I bought this here. There's like a Nintendo here store here in South Africa, because this one, the retail price of this is $50 if you look at, if you buy them on, for example, in the US. But in other stores, especially in the Philippines, it's insanely expensive. I've seen like people like Data Blitz or stuff like that sells video game stuff. They price it at around 5,000 pesos, which is insane. And so in here in South Africa, it's also more expensive than the retail product. That's always the case, the retail price of $50, but the price here when you convert it to Philippine peso is smaller. I believe it's like between 3,000 to 4,000 pesos. So again, it's still more expensive than the $50 retail price, but less than the asking price when you buy it in the Philippines. I believe it's like 3,000 plus or something like that when you convert it, but it's still sealed, because basically this is like a watch, the forerunner of the Game Boy. Before the Game Boy became a thing, you have a Game & Watch, like a single games that you can play that also acts like a clock. The watch, it's not like someone will play and then someone will watch. The watch means a clock. And so in here you have the Super Mario 2, the Lost Levels, the one that was only released in Japan previously. Instead, we got for Super Mario 2, we got a Doki Doki Panic. But anyway, yeah, and I am keeping this sealed. I don't know if I'm gonna open it eventually, but yeah, it looks very nice on the box, but yeah, it's very good. And also in South Africa, I'm typically the second-hand games here are consoles are really cheap. Like for example, like I mentioned before, I was able to buy my Switch Lite for only around 5,000 pesos with a Pokemon Shield cart. Let me get it here very quick. This is the one I'm talking about. I got this for only around 5,000 pesos with Pokemon Shield, which is insane. Again, secondhand, it's extremely cheap. By the way, before I continue, we also have a new background because I set up the table, in front of the window facing outside so that we don't have the huge glare that have been plaguing my old videos. I should have done this way before, but I think the echo is bad in here if I'm using my Xiaomi phone. So now the Samsung Galaxy can basically, I don't know, it has a better microphone capture, so it has no problem. And in here the lighting is way better. But anyway, I was talking about the second-hand consoles that I could buy in South Africa. So if you buy here 3DSs, the second-hand ones, you can actually obtain them for a very cheap price. So let me obtain first again very quickly. So right here we have my regular, my main 3DS of choice, which is a new regular 3DS. This one is a bit rare. This is a bit hard to find because this is a very specific model. The new model that is black, the one with the colored buttons right here, and because the prevalent model for this one is the white one, but this is much harder to find. So I got this in Amazon basically. But if you don't, if you're not like me, if you're not after a certain specific model of the 3DS, you can basically buy a cheap 3DSs right here. So for my Christmas gift, so every year there are kids in my place, that every time I go when I was doing my MS, my PhD, every time I go home for a Christmas vacation, they play like a lot of Game Boy Advance. They play my Game Boy Advance. They basically, experience the evolution of the Nintendo handhelds. They were able to play Game Boy Advance, and then after that they were able to play DS and PSP, and then after that they were able to play the Nintendo 3DS, some of the Vita, and then now every time I go back to vacation, they play the Nintendo Switch. But since I'll be, when I go back, I'll be married. I told them, for your last Christmas vacation, since I'll already be married, this will be your, not Christmas vacation, Christmas gift, I meant. So this will be your last Christmas gift, because usually I give them, Christmas gifts, sometimes monetary, sometimes, useful stuff like a power bank or a Bluetooth speaker. But I told them this will be my last Christmas gift, because I'll be married. After that, I won't be giving a Christmas gift anymore. And I thought, the best way to give them a gift would be to give them a 3DS unit, because the Nintendo Switch would be more expensive and they won't be able to play a lot of games on it, because they would still have to buy the games. But since the Nintendo 3DS is already a relatively old console. It was released in 2011, and you can basically homebrew it so that you can put backup games in there. Then they don't need to, be thinking about how to acquire the games. So that's basically what I did. And again, I did this because, when I was young, it was something, I really wanted. Like, if someone would have given me a Game Boy when I was a kid, I would have been really happy. And so I wanted to be that guy for them. So again, the thing in South Africa is secondhand 3DSs are really cheap, because, like, for example, one of these units that I bought is some guy some driver is working for some person, and then he told me that, this person that he worked for just gave him the 3DS, and then he just basically sold it for a cheap price because he didn't know what to do with it. So I bought it from him, again, relatively cheap, around 2,000 plus. And so I'm gonna show these to you. So this one, a new 2DS XL. I have this particular model with my fiance, the Minecraft version. That's the one I really wanted. But this one is going to Vince, so one of the guys that keeps playing. So a new Nintendo 2DS. Again, I got this for a very cheap secondhand. This one is going to Pearl. It's a pink original 3DS, and I've also put like tempered glass on this. Again, very, very cool. Again, and then this is going to Chani. Okay, he's getting a 3DS XL. So basically, all of them are there's like a cloth here, but basically all of them are like getting different models of the 3DS. I also own these particular models, because I collect them. I want them to be the complete lineup, so it doesn't matter if I give them these particular models. I have them. I have specific copies of them. And then also Kaze, one of my friends back in the Philippines, since he noticed how cheap the 3DS here, he also wanted to give some 3DSs, to his some children that he knew. So he also asked me to hunt some cheap 3DSs for him. So I found this very cheap 2DS. So this is one of the things that I'll be giving to him. 2DS model, and finally another regular original 3DS model, which again I got for cheap here. And these guys are really shiny, you know, they really come in a good condition. And finally, I was I think last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week marked also the completion of my entire 3DS collection, because there are 6 3DSs, the old regular one, which is this one, you know, and then the old regular XL, which is this one, and then there is a 2DS, which is this one, a 2DS XL, which is this one, and then a 3DS, new 3DS regular, the one I showed you, the one that is my own unit, my personal unit, and a new 3DS XL, which is I have back in the Philippines. You know, I left it in my office in physics. But I also got I didn't have previously this one, the 2DS model, because like I mentioned before, these are still cheap. They are still in production, and I finally got, you know, a white one that is in a very supremely nice condition, as you can see right here. I put a tempered glass on it, and man, it feels very good. You know, it's very comfortable. It looks like a modern Game Boy, you know. So currently I'm playing like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Psycho in here. It's very cool, man. Like, yeah. But basically, these 5 other stuff, 2 will go to Kaze, and then the 3 will go to the kids at home that usually play 3 video game consoles in our house. And also I'm leaving one for my brother. I'm gonna leave him an extra 3DS XL. But anyway, going to the postdoc now, because I'm gonna eat my lunch. So last week, we had the first ever high energy and nuclear physics meeting for the subgroup, for the, of course, the particle physics wing, the particle physics subgroup of that group. So I organized a Zoom meeting last week, so that, you know, to put a face on the names of the MS students and one BS student that applied to me. So we had the meeting, and of course we have an upcoming PhD student which will be Justin. So we basically had a short meeting last week, and then in order to, you know, tell them what to expect, what we'll be doing when we will be doing particle physics and phenomenology. And also I gave them, like, I asked them their preferred schedule, so that we can meet weekly for 1 hour research consultation, which of course already started this week. Again, I'm gonna talk about that for the postdoc for this week. So we already did that. And again, there are still 2 more upcoming applicants, like MS. So I'm still thinking, you know, where to draw the line, because again, I'm new at this. Dr. Esguerra basically told me that I can always say no, you know, to the students, but these first batch, they were like the first ones who tried to apply, and then these 2 new upcoming ones, I'll still think if, you know, how much MS students I could handle, you know, because if there will be a lot of them, you're basically spreading yourself too thin. So I'll think about these 2 new applicants. But yeah, so we had that meeting, and it will be, at least the consultation will be a regular weekly thing. And then also the last week, mostly we focused on the MUED paper, because like I said, the Indian guys were able to do the results that they published in December 30, 2020. And so we were very we were trying our best to, you know, reproduce the results, because our results basically do not agree with each other. We tried, you know, reproducing the mass spectrums, the cross sections. We agree with the mass spectrums. We agree at least with a bit of the cross sections, and then we tried the cross section predictions after the cut flows. And then basically theirs is the weird thing about theirs is in the Atlas search that they considered, which is the Atlas Conference 2019-040, a multi-jet plus a missing energy search, multi-jets plus MET. In the lower spectrum of the parameter space that we scanned, where the masses are compressed, the weird thing is that theirs becomes a lot more sensitive, even though in that particular region the MET should be smaller, you know. So that this is something that we found weird, and ours has the opposite effect. Ours will have a lower sensitivity in that compressed region, as expected, because Atlas 040 is a search that relies on an MET. And in fact, this search is not even the strongest. We found another one that is an even stronger search, which is the CMS 039. I believe it's a multi leptons and missing energy search. This is a strongest for the majority of the benchmark points. And it is still, even though it's stronger than when we used our Atlas 040, it's still weaker compared to the results from their Atlas. And then the thing about their paper is they're only considering one search, whereas we consider the multiple searches, at least that were currently implemented in a Checkmate. So we'll see how it goes. Jong, the last communication from Jong, he said maybe we can submit, because he was really confident with our results. Maybe we can submit even without emailing this Indian. Initially we planned to email these Indian guys and check what they did, because in their paper it's not clear whether they use matching or not and stuff like that. So maybe we would like to clarify, but then Jong said maybe we just submit it to archive, and then maybe not just email them. But we'll see. We'll be meeting, I don't know, we were supposed to meet early this week, but like I said, I had to prepare for the stuff that I'll be presenting this week, so we move our meeting instead to early next week. But in any case, yeah, I'll update you for the postdoc for this week. And also finally, we're in the Florida Reading Club. We're already starting with our group theory reading. And currently we're reading Lie Algebras in Particle Physics by Howard George's book. So initially I never had a proper an official course in group theory. I only learned it in a scattered way from different places whenever I need it. But this one, with the readings that we're doing, it's like we'll be doing at least 20 plus chapters of the Howard George's book. And again, it's every Tuesday, which is 12 midnight here, the current time slot. And currently we're studying, or we're talking about the finite groups, the first chapter, very dense chapter, and also very long, because Georgie basically condensed the entire finite groups into that single chapter. Yeah, but I think we stopped in Schur's lemma last week, and then next week we'll be continuing. All right, but anyway, this has been Postdoc Chronicles week number 125. I'm gonna eat my lunch now, because in around 45 minutes I'm gonna present to the Jets and Photons, a subgroup of Atlas. But I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and this is again the audio quality from Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Thank you.